Well, our next guest says people should push aside their dated notions about the Canadian forestry sector. Nope, it's not focused on lumberjacks, focused on logging trees and processing woods. No, that's not all that it's about. Today's forestry sector, we hear, is high-tech. It's got employees skilled in biochemistry, genetics, satellite imagery, and of course, plenty of forestry companies, they're shutting down mills. Some have gone bankrupt, but not all. Chad Wasilenkoff is the CEO of Fortress Paper. He's here to tell us about the innovation that forward thinkers like himself are using. Hi there, Chad.
Hi.
When we do think of our forestry sector as pretty old school, and of course we don't have any indigenous global leaders based in Canada anymore, but you think the forestry sector is moving ahead?
Yes, absolutely. It's gone through a couple of challenging decades here in Canada and North America. A lot of the mills are a little bit older technology. The trees don't grow as fast as places like Brazil and Indonesia. So we now need to change that sector and drive forward with new innovation, cutting-edge technology to remain globally competitive.
You just wrote a letter to the Vancouver Sun. You're on a kind of a mission here. You wrote this letter talking about high-tech initiatives. Tell us a couple of the things that are going on, please.
What we see previously, again, most of the wood was just used for lumber or regular pulp. Now we're seeing it's more of a biorefiner. We're taking the wood, we're breaking it right down to the molecular level and extracting as many products as we can and get as much value out of that wood as possible. Everyone who has an LCD screen in front of them, there's a layer of biocellulose within there. If you chew sugar-free gum, that crisp taste, that comes from wood cellulose as well. And at our mill in Quebec, we're converting the wood, purifying it down to a cellulose product, and it goes into making rayon. So it's a competitor for the cotton industry.
The British used to have an incredible plane in the Second World War called the Mosquito that used wood. Wood is again being used in the aerospace sector?
Yes, through nanocrystalline structures. Again, they could break it down to the molecular level, put it back together, becomes a very light, strong, durable product that, again, is going into the automotive as well as the airplane sectors.
Could you tell us about this Biopathways project? Who's behind it and what does it involve?
That's put together by FPAC, and Avram Lazar is the head of that. It's a great new project that's going on here in Canada, again, trying to remain globally competitive. So what they're doing is working through and taking on some of these R&D expenditures that a lot of companies just can't afford because they still are having some challenging times in the forestry sector. But again, the government is taking this on, trying to do or spearhead the initial technology and the research and development, and then looking to partner with commercial players such as ourselves to get these out into the market and see if we can't increase the overall portfolio of wood products coming out of Canada.
It's incredible. I mean, we're talking about maybe paper towels that would indicate contamination and all kinds of super strong building materials. I know there's a big push. I know in BC, the wood guys have got the building code changed so that wood can be used higher and higher in buildings.
Yes, no, it's definitely ongoing and it's moving in the right direction. China is a very interesting market for Canadian wood. Unfortunately, a lot of it, the logs are just being canted or they just knock the sides off. There's really no value add. They're being put in containers and shipped over to China. Again, I'd love to see that change, add the value here in Canada, drive forward with our expertise and innovation, and leverage as much as we can off our natural resources.
Now, Chad, you're that awful cliche serial entrepreneur. You've been in the uranium business. You've been in all kinds of industries. I was reading a profile of you in the Globe. Apparently, insomnia has plagued you for years. How many hours sleep a night do you need to function, if you don't mind me asking?
On a typical night, I won't get any sleep. I do get anywhere from 7 to 8 hours of rest, but unfortunately, I usually wake up to 20 emails that I send to myself with new ideas, new areas to evaluate, people I need to contact to see if there's some opportunity out there.
You've been turning heads with Fortress Paper. You make very, very high quality for banknotes. You're trying to revolutionize the wallpaper industry. Tell us what you're doing, though, at a mill in Quebec, please.
So we bought an older mill. It was older technology, as I mentioned, which you see a lot here in North America. It was making paper pulp, and in doing so, it actually went bankrupt. It was the wrong process for this very valuable equipment. So we were able to pick it up at actually what I would say is below scrap metal pricing.
Wow.
We are going through about $150 million conversion to make dissolving pulp, which will be used in the rayon sector. So we produce paper pulp today while we're going through the conversion, and the mill actually operates at a slight loss because, again, it's just the wrong process for that. Our conversion will be done at the end of September. We'll be making this dissolving pulp in and around $600 to $650, all in cash cost delivered to Shanghai, and the current spot price for that commodity is $1,700 a ton. So we now become globally competitive and very profitable.
And just remind it, rayon is replacing nylon in some applications.
Yes. There's all kinds of different uses for the product. There's a high modulus strength rayon that's used in red and flat tires in all the cars we see today. So there's many, many uses for it.
And just very quickly, what are you doing with wallpaper? People stop putting wallpaper up because of the hassle of taking it off, but you're making super strong wallpaper that you can take off in one big sheet.
That's correct. About a decade ago, the industry saw the challenge. People were reluctant to buy wallpaper because they didn't want to take it off and all those pulls and tears, trying to steam it off the wall. So we now put synthetic fibers into the wallpaper backing. It gives it the strength to come off in one pull. With that, that sector is growing at about a 15 to 20% CAGR every single year. We now represent approximately 60% of the global production of that, and there's a lot of demand continuing to grow there.
We'll have to leave it there. Chad, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Chad Wasilenkoff, he's a CEO of